So it took me a while to get to this movie, but I finally saw The Black Phone, and after I watched it, I am really disappointed I didn't get to see this in the theater. If you saw it in the theater, consider yourself lucky. I wish I were in your shoes. I want everyone now, before I get too far into this, to drop your comments down below. Did you see it in the theater? What were your thoughts on this movie? Let's talk about it down in the comments. This was directed by Scott Derrickson, and he also directed Sinister, which was also a really good movie. Scott Derrickson has this different sense of horror. He has a different horror tone. It's not about the blood and the gore and the guts. It's more that really super creepy factor that has the hair on the back of your neck stand up and the chills that run all the way down your spine. That kind of horror. A lot of suspense, a lot of thriller, a little bit of drama thrown in. This stars Ethan Hawke, who plays the grabber, Mason Thames, who plays Finney, and Madeline McGraw, who plays his sister Gwen. Now, Finney and Gwen, this is where the genius of this movie comes into play, because it's not all about the grabber. It's not all about that, because Gwen and Finney, they live with a very abusive father, and there's a lot of drama going on there. And then Finney's also getting bullied at school, and then the grabber comes into play. So there's a lot of character build up in the beginning of this movie, which is great because you get to see the relationship between Finney and his sister Gwen, who always have each other's back because of all the drama that's going on. But when the grabber does show up, he definitely has a bit of a creepy factor because you don't see Ethan Hawke's face very often. He's always got this mask on, which in itself is very ingenious because it's a two-part mask. He either wears the top half or the bottom half. Sometimes he wears both, but then the bottom half with the mouth on it has different expressions that give you an idea of the grabber's mood. And that's some of the little detail in the movie that I really appreciate, is just that little bit. I mean, you may not notice it at first, or maybe even it just slips your mind and you notice it, but you overlook it. But when you think back at all the things that he does, the mask that he wears really gives you an idea of his mentality and where he's at. And that definitely in itself is a bit creepy. And it gives you a little bit of those hairs on the back of your head standing up. Now, I have to give it to Mason Thames and Madeline McGraw. As young actors playing these two roles, their portrayal of their emotions on screen is phenomenal. There's a lot of trauma that they're going through, both at home and with the grabber, and even things at school. Their facial expressions, their emotions are really felt through the screen. As young actors, you normally don't get this level of execution, and I gotta say, I was really impressed with them. But then young Finney does get abducted by the grabber and thrown into the basement, where there's basically nothing but cinder block walls and a black phone hanging on the wall that's been disconnected. The cable's hanging there, just dangling around, not doing nothing, so obviously the phone doesn't work, right? Wrong. The phone rings, and on the other end are the voices of the kids that the grabber has previously killed. Now, this is where the attention to detail comes into play again, and I love the director's view on this. When the phone does ring and Finney picks it up, he's talking, and you hear the voice of the dead kids. Now, although Finney can't see them, we can. The kid is standing right next to Finney, talking to him, his mouth's moving, matching every word on the phone. So we get to see the dead kid, but Finney doesn't realize he's there. And that's just something that I liked. It's a small element of horror and creepiness that we get to experience. It's very much like that same tone we got from Sinister that Scott Derrickson is bringing into the Black Phone, and this is why I like this movie. I will say that every time that phone rang, I got a chill down my spine because you weren't sure the voice that's going to be on your other end. You weren't sure what they were going to say. Were they going to be screaming at him? Were they not? Are they helping him? Are they just pissed off in general from what happened to them? So there's a lot of stuff going on there that get you on the edge of your seat. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to chill down my spine just thinking about it. So this is definitely an area that was so well thought out and so well directed that hands down you will appreciate when you see it. And if you have seen it, tell me if that creeped you out or if it was just me. Now, I don't think this is all about Finney being captured because his sister is playing a big role in this as well. Gwen has, we'll say, some special abilities that are definitely going to help in the investigation of the grabber in this film. And I don't want to say what those special abilities are because it does tend to lead to a lot. So I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it. But if you have seen it, let me know if you thought it fit in well with the movie. I thought it was a great idea. Definitely a little bit of a twist that I didn't expect. But her powers do play an important role too, both in the investigation and at home, which is part of the drama and the abuse that they're experiencing because something else happened there that I'm not going to get into that was very much the cause of the abusive household. So when you see it, you'll understand, but I'll say it's a little bit, it pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. Now, I will say I enjoy trying to figure movies like this out. There is a little bit of a puzzle that you got to piece together. Like, where is the grabber? How is he hiding these kids and nobody is finding them? And then you're like, oh, I know where this is. I know where he's hiding. I know where he's taking them. I know how the kid's going to get out. I know I can see what, and then you're guessing all this stuff and it ends up being completely wrong. I thought I had it figured out. I didn't. You know, I like that little bit of surprise. So a little bit of hints and clues and details that are dropped throughout the movie are something I appreciate because I like, again, trying to piece it together. And then when you're wrong, because they led you over here, but sleight of hand, you're really over here. I love that. That's pretty cool. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a great movie. I will definitely be watching it a second time. Let me know down in the comments if you saw it. What did you think about it? Did it give you the same chills as Sinister? Did you really piece together those little details? Make sure you drop a like on the video for me. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. I'm Kevin, and I'll see you at the concession stands.